Ballerina is directed by Len Wiseman and is a spin-off of the John Wick franchise. In this film, an assassin played by Ana de Armas, trained in the traditions of the Rosca Roma organization, sets out to seek revenge after her father's death. I'll be honest, I didn't have a ton of hype for Ballerina. When it comes to the John Wick franchise, I like it. I especially really like the first two movies, but for me personally, chapters 3 and 4 kind of fell off a bit. They didn't really work for me. And Ballerina has had a lot of production issues. There are reports going around that Chad Stahelski, the director of the John Wick movies, he helmed months of reshoots without Len Wiseman's involvement. Apparently he reshot a bunch of the action and a bunch of the movie in general. Hello everyone, it is post-editing Billy once again. So I had literally finished editing this video, and just on a whim I decided to have a little research about Len Wiseman and the behind the scenes issues of this movie. And very recently, I did not know this, Len Wiseman has denied the reports. He said what actually happened was that there was a couple of weeks of additional photography that Chad Stahelski directed because Len Wiseman had a health scare and was in hospital during the time. So having read that, I felt bad if I didn't at least try and correct myself and try and put the actual story out there. I will say the trailers were pretty good. They didn't make this look anything amazing, but they looked fun. Firstly, let's start with Ana de Armas. She's absolutely on her way to being one of the best actresses working today, and in Ballerina, she proves herself to be a total action star. Yes, she had some action in No Time to Die, but she had like one sequence. Whereas this is her movie, and she totally commands the screen. I could be wrong, but I feel like she did a lot of the stunts herself, and she just makes her character really believable. You believe in her character being this assassin in training. There is this softer side to the character, but when she kicks into action mode, holy shit, she pulls it off. I think the setup for this movie is pretty good. There was honestly more of it than I was expecting, and I think the opening 20 to 25 minutes really do contain some intrigue. With Ballerina, you kind of have to go in for the action, and when it comes to the action and the presentation of the action, is really well done. There are a lot of wide, long takes. Again, it really does seem like it's Ana de Armas doing these stunts, and the cinematography is actually really solid. This movie has a really vibrant color palette, and you notice that during the action sequences as well. I can't lie, this movie does not have the greatest story. This is a very generic story, one we have seen done a million times before. It does feel like this film is only interested in the bare minimum when it comes to the story. It just gives you what you need to know and very swiftly moves on to the next action sequence. I wanted to be able to get invested in this world, but there's no breathing time to do so. There's especially something they do with certain characters in the second act, which feels like it should have been really important, but the film completely glosses over it. Like, genuinely, it is something introduced and resolved within 5 minutes. So really, a lot of the storytelling can feel very choppy. I wanted to know a lot more, and also because of this, the action sequences, especially in the second act, don't really hold a lot of weight. It can just feel like action for the sake of action, which at a point does get repetitive. However, I will say the third act of this movie is pretty damn good. While it doesn't necessarily right the wrongs of the story, it gets so bonkers that I found it impossible to not be entertained by what was happening. I think if you're a fan of the John Wick franchise, you will get a kick out of Ballerina. I think it really struggles with its writing, and I am generally mixed on it, because it definitely has some high highs, but the lows are very problematic. The third act left me leaning more towards a positive than a negative grade. I'm going to give Ballerina a B-. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. You guys are awesome. Blu-ray Billy, logging off.